Hey guys, checking in for week three, discussion word post, and just want to first apologize, say I'm feeling a little sick, so if you hear anything weird in the sound of my voice, that's what that is. I'll change the scenery today. I'm sitting in my kitchen downstairs, so in any case, this week we're talking about discipleship and doing a little word study type work in that. Very interesting. I think as like a personal connection, in the ministry that I work in, we are a discipleship ministry for young men. So it's important that this word is like understood for us. But it's important for anyone to understand what is discipleship. It's a buzzword in a lot of ministries. A lot of churches are trying to do discipleship. A lot of ministries are saying that they do discipleship, but what is discipleship? And it's this word that's thrown around a lot, and it's seen in the New Testament. So you know that it's well, not the word discipleship, but um, in any case, where I went first is Matthew 28:19 through 20, which is probably anyone's go-to place when understanding discipleship, because it's um, the commission, and Christ specifically says to go and make disciples. So that's where I first want to stop using this word discipleship, because it's not even in the New Testament, and I don't want to like pick apart anything, but I think the word disciple making is a lot more clear to the definition in and of itself as a phrase than the word discipleship is. Um, so when you're making disciples, it implies a lot of different things. The first step is to obviously understand what is a disciple, and the passage that we were given for Mark chapter 8 and a little bit of 9 gives you an example of what that is in verse 34, where it says to lay down your cross and come follow me. And it kind of explains a little bit more what that means, but basically means give up yourself, give up your life, give up everything you have, and come and follow me. But then what does this concept of following mean? For that, I kind of want to look at the Old Testament, because the Old Testament is a great place to go to understand some basic foundational things. The problem is, because there's a language difference, it can be difficult to make that jump from one side of um, the Bible to the other. So what I found was that there's two phrases that we can combine to talk about disciple making in the Old Testament, and they're the word halak and derek. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but in any case, they mean to walk in the way of. And so we see that with Moses and Joshua. We see that with a number of people in the Old Testament, but I want to highlight Elijah and Elisha, because if you go to 1 Kings 19 through 21, you'll see that kind of process begin, where Elijah goes and finds Elisha and kind of throws his coat over him, and then says, follow me, sort of thing. And Elijah then like slaughters some livestock and ends up following him and does all these things with him, and learns to do things the way Elijah does. And then in 2 Kings chapter 2, you kind of see this calling of Elisha. And it's very interesting to go read that. But you have this master and a student that's learning to do things in the way of the master. But what's interesting is that when Elisha does answer the call, he says, kind of give unto me your spirit double, like twice fold. And I think that's kind of interesting, that he aspires to be not just as good as his master, but better than. And in any case, so going back to Matthew 28:19 through 20, this idea of disciple making, when Jesus talks about it, he says, go therefore and make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to follow the commands. And so I think that is important, because the first step in disciple making is baptism or evangelism. And one of the other issues that we have in our Christian culture today, or from the pulpit, is this idea that you have this second stage Christianity, where you start out and you meet the point of conversion, and then your next step is discipleship. But obviously Christ is saying that's not the case. He's saying that the process of discipleship, the process of disciple making, is both baptizing and teaching. So when you go out and you're making disciples, you are going to evangelize. You are going to share the gospel with them. You are going to be a witness. But you're not going to just leave them there. You're going to continue and you're going to teach them. You're going to show them. You're going to guide them in the way that they should go to follow Christ. And those two things aren't just a two-stage thing. They mold hand in hand. So as you are evangelizing, you're discipling. And as you are discipling, you are evangelizing. And it's really hard to do one without the other. And in fact, it's not biblical to do one without the other, I would say. In any case, thanks for listening, guys. I hope that kind of shed a little bit more light on my discussion board post below. I look forward to the responses. And next week, I'll be up in Hamburg, New York on a training thing for my job. So I hope to be checking in from there. But God bless and take care.